Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at one of the non-jackpot cards, Shiryu. I will be taking a look at his leader skill, team skill, and active skills and letting you know my thoughts and opinions on this card. So without further ado, let's get started with his leader skill. He is going to be an Earth human and has the following leader skill. When the team has only humans or Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, your team attack increases by 5 times, HP and recovery by 1.2 times. Additionally, you get a runestone movement time extension of 1 second, and attack of saints increases by 3 times additionally. High runes possess 50% effect of attributed runestones, and water and earth possess the effect of each other at 50%. In terms of team skills, you do acquire the 8th sense, which is pretty standard for all Saint Seiya leaders, and it is a pretty good craft skill in my opinion. Additionally, if the leader and ally are Shiryu or Hyoga, leader and ally are Shiryu or Hyoga, either way, by dissolving all earth or water runes in the first batch, your team attack increases by 5 times additionally. And by dissolving all hard runes in the first batch, each member launches an extra attack at 50% of its original attack. Additionally, if there is a final craft of Dragon Shiryu without the Dragonware, you acquire another team skill, which we will cover later in this review. Additionally, the last team skill that he has is going to be a stat boosting skill. So whenever the leader and ally are Seiya, Hyoga, Shiryu, Iki, or Shun, you do get a HP, attack, and recovery boost of 1.2 additionally, and extending runestone movement time to 12 seconds. So in my opinion, his leader skill is going to be pretty standard, pretty vanilla, honestly. There aren't that many gimmicks, so he is going to be a pretty honest leader in my opinion. The only way, the only thing that you need to keep in mind is that for his playstyle, you do want to dissolve all earth runes or all water runes in the first batch. Otherwise, your attack is going to be pretty lackluster. He only has a times 5 and a times 3 attack boost on his leader skill. So if you don't get the times 5 from his team skill by dissolving either all earth runes or all water runes, his attack is going to be really small and really underwhelming. So definitely, if you want to play him as a leader, you do want to be dissolving all earth runes or all water runes in the first batch. And potentially all heart runes as well, just so that you can get those extra attacks and also deal extra damage. However, compared to other leaders, his multipliers are going to be pretty low, so he definitely will struggle a bit with harder stages like Nightmare stages or even the newer Ultimate stages. However, if you don't have any good Earth leaders, this might be a kind of good leader for early game content because he will be easy to play and actually his damage is not bad, it is just really lackluster for the current meta. So yeah, will I recommend to use him as a leader? Maybe if you don't have anything else to use as an Earth leader. However, if you did manage to pull the other Saint Seiya leaders, then that might be a better option for you as well. So now let's take a look at the active skills. We have Rising Dragon Punch, which is a CD7 skill where you have the following effect. Explode all runestones and turn 14 runestones at fixed positions into enchanted earth runes. And for one round, the character attack increases by 5 times. So this is going to be a pretty standard, pretty simple skill. CD7 is a little bit slow, but it is not bad at all. Exploding all runestones, in my opinion, is pretty useful because it helps you get rid of a lot of board debuffs like weaken runes and electrify runes. So being able to explode all of them can be really useful. Additionally, if you have like element block, so an enemy that converts your entire board into heart and then doesn't allow you to dissolve hearts, you can explode all the runes in order to get rid of that, um, yeah, in order to bypass that enemy skills. Additionally, you are generating 14 runestones of enchanted earth runes, so this is going to generate quite a bit of attacking runes for your team. So if your leader uses earth runes as attacking runes, this is going to be really useful as well. Additionally, a times 5 self-attack increase is also allow you going to it's also going to allow you to burst down your enemies using a high damaging attack. So CD7 for a burst effect, it's not bad. Um, However, it is a pretty honest skill, nothing broken, but it's also not useless. But yeah, Let's take a look at his second active skill. This is going to be CD8, and it is going to be the switching skill. This skill can only be activated if you have the Dragon God Cloth Dragonware. So keep in mind that you will not be able to activate it if you don't have the Dragonware equipped. CD8, pretty standard for switching skills. It is the same for all switching skills, and has the following effect. The columns below every human and dragon will become runestones of that race, and turn earth and heart runes into enchanted runes. Additionally, for 2 rounds, step damage will become 0. In my opinion, this is going to be really useful, although a little bit situational. Switching is going to be good. However, switching, modifying runes to race runes and enchanted runes is all going to be really nice. However, that is not going to be the reason why I'm using this skill. This skill is, I think, the only skill in the game right now that can ignore step damage. And step damage traditionally has been really annoying to deal with. Normally you use a fixed board convert to not deal with it, or you do an effect removal skill to get rid of it. We haven't had a card that specifically counters step damage. So Shiryu being able to counter step damage is going to be really good. But definitely keep one in your inventory just for that. However, the only downside of it is because this is a switching skill, you are only able to activate it once. After you do it, you don't really have another switching skill because you already switched your character. Which means that if there are more than 2 enemies in the stage with step damage, which hasn't happened yet and it is very uncommon, you will not be able to activate step damage ignoring a second time. So in my opinion, ignoring step damage is pretty useful, kind of situational, and also like I said before, there are other ways of getting around step damage, but being able to have a card that can ignore it, it is a pretty nice addition to the game in my opinion, and definitely worth having in your inventory just in case. But yeah, so in terms of pre-switching skills, I think Shiryu is actually pretty honest, has pretty good skills, but nothing too broken. The first one is just a generic board explosion and self-attack increase, which can be pretty useful. Doesn't counter any specific shields or anything, but it gives you that extra attack boost that you might need in the stage. Then the second one, also pretty honest. You just modify the runes to give them race attributes and enchanted attributes, which will increase your attack, but nothing too major. The only thing that will be pretty new is the step damage, but like I said before, it is situational. There are other ways to get around it, but it is nice to have. So now we have God Cloth of Dragon Shiryu, which is the switched form of Shiryu. Keep in mind that to switch, you do need to equip him with the Dragonware and activate your switching skill in order to achieve this form. In this form, he does get a little bit of an attack boost. His leader skill remains pretty much the same, however he gets a ×6 team attack instead of a ×5 team attack, and that is basically the only change to him. You go from ×5 to ×6, so as a leader, or the leader potential of Shiryu doesn't change much after switching. So now, because the leader skill doesn't change much, let's take a look at the active skills. The EP skill 1 requires 7 EP at max skill level, and it is Rising Dragon Punch as well. Explode all runes, turn the columns below Shiryu, either Final Bronze Cloth or God Cloth, into enchanted runes. For 1 round, the character's damage increases by 7 times, and the damage will be dealt of regardless of Quintet Elemental Shield. But in my opinion, this is a straight upgrade from his original first active skill. You still explode all runestones, and now you're generating more dragon runes, or more more enchanted earth runes. In the past, you're actually debatable, because in the other skill you generate 14 enchanted earth runes. In this one, if you only run leader and ally Shiryu, you are generating only 12 or 10, one on each column. However, if you're running more than 2 copies, you can get 15 enchanted earth runes, which is going to be more. However, your self attack increase is going to be greater, going from ×5 to ×7. So this is going to be a better burst option and will deal more damage. Additionally, you also gain a Quintet Elemental Shield Ignore effect, which is going to be really useful, especially because you are generating so many enchanted earth runes and potentially getting rid of runestones that you need to break the quintet elemental shield. So in my opinion, this is going to be a straight upgrade from the first active skill, and it is going to be pretty good in my opinion. So now let's take a look at the second EP skill. This is going to be an EP10, and for one round, the character launches 10 extra earth attacks, as much as 10% of its own attack, and by dissolving more than 10 runes in the first batch, the first 100 runes to be dropped will be enchanted earth runes. So basically, it's going to just get it's just going to drop earth runes continuously until you reach 100 earth runes. 100 runestones, which think of it as a pseudo Greek playstyle. Basically, you dissolve your entire board, you get 30, a chunk of 30 earth runes, and then you get another chunk of 30, you get another chunk of 30, and then you get a chunk of 10. That is going to be the first 100 runestones to be dropped. And it is like that because it does not say first 100 runestones in the first batch, or the first, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it will drop a chunk of enchanted earth runes, which will allow you to deal a lot of damage, and this is going to be a really good attacking skill because it will give you so many attacking runes that you will be able to kill a lot of enemies really easily, especially if your leader is an earth member or uses earth runes to attack. The fact that he also launches 10 extra attacks is going to be just a bonus because 10% of its own attack, it's not that great. Basically, this is just one attack at 100% damage. So basically, your attack is only increasing by 2 times, assuming you're ignoring defense. But yeah, in my opinion, this active skill is not bad. EP10 is pretty good. Like I said before, Shiryu's active skills are pretty honest. They're nothing broken, but they're not useless. In my opinion, they're just pretty nice. So if you are lacking on broken skills to have, this is a really good skill to add to your team. So lastly, I want to go into his other team skill, that it is when Shiryu does not have a Godcloth Dragonware equipped. He does get a special team skill where his second active skill will change. So your switching skill will disappear, and he will gain another active skill called High Dragon Punch at the expense of your switching skill. At CD7, you will release the lock skill of the character, so only Shiryu. Restore all runes to normal state, restore cracked positions. The character will become disabled after one round, but in this one round, you will get a ×9 attack boost, and 1% of your total team HP will be depleted for every step moved. So in my opinion, this is going to just be a ×9 burst option. However, you do get to release the active skill of this character if it's locked, but more importantly, you are restoring all runes to the normal state and also getting rid of cracked positions. Right now, Madhe has been introducing more cracked position enemies, and the amount of cards that we have to remove cracked positions is very limited still. So being able to have a card that can restore cracked positions is going to be really good. Especially if this character gets a ×9 self-attack boost, means that you'll be able to kill those enemies super easily as well. So in my opinion, having Shiryu have a second active skill, depending whether he has the Dragonware equipped or not, is actually really nice because it makes him more flexible to play and definitely worth having in your inventory because it can satisfy multiple team building needs. For example, getting rid of step damage if you have the Dragonware, or if the stage doesn't have step damage, you can use this other active skill instead in order to get rid of cracked positions. But yeah, in terms of this non-jackpot card, I think as a leader, his potential is pretty limited, but he will help you clear up some early to mid game stages as a leader. And as a member, he is pretty honest. His skills are pretty useful, but they are not broken. They are going to help you in certain stages, and he is a pretty good burst option, especially after he switches. But yeah, overall, I do think Shiryu is a pretty good Earth card. As a non-jackpot card, it is a non-jackpot card, so it is pretty good, but not broken like the jackpot cards. However, I do think it is worth getting one copy at dual max, and potentially having more than one copy, because the more copies you run, the more columns of earth runes you can use. However, I wouldn't recommend putting more than 2 in your team, because having more cards in your team to get rid of utility or get rid of enemy shields is going to be increasingly more important. Especially because Shiryu can only ignore Quintet Elemental Shield, and that's only when he switches, so any other enemy shields will become pretty annoying to break. So definitely save those team slots for cards that can break enemy shields. But yeah, that's all I had to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed anything. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!